never to partake in their happiness or pain, brought such a sense of overwhelming depression, deepened by the rain stinging the windows of the car, that when I came to Le Mans, although I had not intended to stop there and lunch, I changed my mind, hoping to change my mood. It was market day, and in the Place des Jacobins, lorries and carts with green tarpaulins stood parked close to the steps below the cathedral, and the rows of stalls were crowded one beside another. It must have been one of the big market days, for the Place was full of country people, and there was an unmistakable smell in the air, half vegetable, half beast, that could come only from the soil, muddied, ruddy brown and wet, and from the steaming pens where huddled cattle moved in uneasy comradeship. 3 men were prodding a bullock towards the lorry beside me. The poor brute bellowed, turning his roped head from side to side, backing away from the lorry, which was already packed with his snorting, frightened fellows. I could see the red flecks in his bewildered eyes as one of the men pricked his flanks with a hayfork. 2 black-shawled women argued beside an open cart, one of them holding by the feet a squawking hen, whose fluttering, protesting wings brushed the wide wicker basket heaped with apples on which the woman leant, while towards them came a great hulking fellow in a nut-brown velvet coat, his face purple with good cheer from a nearby bistro, his eyes blurred, his walk unsteady. He grumbled to himself as he peered down at the coins in his open hand. Fewer than he had expected, too few. He must somehow have miscalculated in that vanished hour of heat and sweat and tobacco, whence he now came to quarrel with his mother and his wife. I could picture the farmstead which was his home, and had been his father's before him, 2 kilometres from the road, up a sand track full of potholes, the low house a pale lemon wash, the roof tiled, the farm and outbuildings a smudge amidst the flat brown fields, heaped now with line upon line of pumpkins, lime green or salmon pink, rounded and firm, left to dry before they were fed to the beasts for winter fodder, or to the farm people themselves as soup. I walked past the lorry and across the Place to the brasserie at the corner, and suddenly the pale sun shone from the fitful sky, and the people thronging the Place, who had seemed black smudges in the rain, crow-like, bent, impersonal, became animated blobs of colour, smiling, gesticulating, strolling about their business with new leisure, as the sky fell apart, turning the dull day to gold. The brasserie was crowded, the atmosphere thick with the good smell of food, soupy and pungent, of cheese upon sauce-tipped knives, spilt wine, the bitter dregs of coffee. And rank, too, with the wet cloth of coats heavily rained upon, now drying, the whole scene framed in a blue smoke cloud of Gauloise cigarettes. I found a seat in the far corner near the service door, and as I ate my omelette, the herb juice splaying the plate, satisfying, warm, the swing door kept bursting backwards, forwards, pushed impatiently by waiters heavily laden with trays piled high with food. At first the sight was an aperitif to my own hunger, but later, when my meal was over, it became somehow a deterrent to digestion. Too many fried potatoes, too many pork chops. The woman who ate beside me was still forking beans into her mouth as I called for coffee, and she expostulated to her sister upon the cost of living, ignoring the pallid little girl who sat on the husband's knee and demanded to be taken to the toilette. The conversation never ceased, and as I listened, for this sort of thing was my one relaxation when preoccupation with history left me free, my former depression returned to nag beneath the surface of enjoyment. I was an alien. I was not one of them. Years of study, years of training, the fluency with which I spoke their language, taught their history, described their culture, had never brought me closer to the people themselves. I was too diffident, too conscious of my own reserve. My knowledge was library knowledge, and my day-to-day experience no deeper than a tourist's gleanings. The urge to know was with me, and the ache. The smell of the soil, the gleam of the wet roads, the faded paint of